On July 13, 2019, the Wimbledon men's final stretched to a 70-68 fifth set, a marathon that lasted over 11 hours and set a record for the longest single set in tennis history. The match ended not because a new rule intervened, but because the tournament's traditional format forbids a tie break in the deciding set, forcing players to battle until one gains a two-game lead. That singular moment highlighted how the very structure of a tournament can turn a routine championship into an epic saga, reshaping player strategy, audience experience, and even the sport's calendar. Understanding why some events adopt sudden death tiebreaks, while others cling to endless advantage play, reveals the hidden calculus behind every tennis competition. Formats dictate everything from the number of matches a player must win, to the pace at which a tournament progresses, to the financial stakes for organizers and broadcasters. The stakes rise when a format's quirks create controversy, as seen in the 2007 ATP Finals, where a round-robin tie forced officials to apply obscure tie-break criteria to decide the champion. This video will unpack every major tournament format used in professional tennis. It will trace their origins, explain their mechanics, and show how each shaped the sport's drama. From single elimination Grand Slams to round-robin year-end championships, the journey will reveal why the rules of the game matter as much as the players themselves. That surprising fact leads straight to the birth of tennis's many formats. The first organized tournament took place at the All England Club in 1877. Only 15 players entered, and the event used a simple knockout bracket. Lose once and you were out. This single elimination style kept matches short enough for the limited grass courts and for spectators who could watch the whole day. A few years later, the United States National Championship began in 1881. Copying the British knockout system but adding a challenge round, the defending champion waited while all others battled, then played the winner in a single final. The rule saved the champion from fatigue and gave organizers a guaranteed headline match. By the early 1900s, the French and Australian championships joined the circuit, each using the same elimination idea because travel was slow and courts were scarce. In 1912, the International Lawn Tennis Federation, later the ITF, formalized the knockout draw for the Davis Cup, turning national team play into a series of best-of-5 rubbers. The need for fairness and excitement pushed organizers to experiment. In 1970, the U.S. Open introduced the tie-break to prevent endless sets. And in 1978, the Australian Open switched from a challenge round to a pure knockout. These changes aimed to fit television schedules and keep fans engaged. Thus, the core formats, single elimination, challenge round, round-robin, and team events, arose from practical limits, a desire for drama, and the early sport's growing global reach. Having traced the roots of tournament design, the next step is to map its milestones. Why did early events look so different? From 1877 to 1921, Wimbledon used a challenge round, where the defending champion waited while all other players fought for the right to meet him. The format rewarded the holder but gave newcomers a grueling path, a quirk that vanished when the 1922 edition forced the champion to start in the first round. What replaced the challenge round? The simple single elimination or knockout bracket took hold at the U.S. National Championships in 1881 and spread worldwide. A 128-player draw meant 7 straight wins crowned a champion, a structure that still defines the Grand Slams. How did team competition shape formats? The Davis Cup, launched in 1900, introduced a round-robin phase for national teams, followed by a final tie of 5 matches. This hybrid of group play and knockout inspired the ATP Finals in 1970, where 8 top men compete in 2 round-robin groups before semifinals decide the champion. When did matches stop dragging forever? In 1970, the U.S. Open adopted the 12-point tiebreak at 6-6 in a set, cutting endless deuce battles. Other majors followed in the 1970s and 80s, creating a predictable rhythm that fans could count on. Why do formats still evolve? The ATP reshaped the tour in 1990, standardizing best-of-3 matches for most events, while keeping best-of-5 for Grand Slam men's singles. In 2006, doubles switched to a match tiebreak to 10 points, speeding up play. What recent tweaks matter most? In 2019, all four majors introduced a 10-point tie-break at 6-6 in the final set, ending marathon finales. The 2020 pandemic forced shorter draws and no spectator matches, showing how external pressure can rewrite rules in a single season. Each of these turning points built the layered of today's tournament formats, turning a simple sport into a complex calendar of strategic structures. Following the steady march of events, a single decision reshaped every tournament's blueprint. In 1965, American promoter James Van Allen unveiled the sudden death tiebreak, a 12-point sprint to end dead-locked sets. The idea lingered until the U.S. Open embraced it in 1970, replacing endless deuce battles with a crisp, timed climax. That experiment proved decisive. Players could now predict match length, broadcasters could schedule shows, and fans saw drama condensed into a single, nail-biting volley. The ripple effect reached the fledgling ATP, which in 1972 organized the men's tour around the new format, standardizing best-of-3 sets for most events while reserving best-of-5 for the majors. 2 decades later, the WTA mirrored the shift, aligning women's tournaments with the same concise structure. The change freed tournament directors to pack more matches into limited daylight, expanding prize pools and global reach. A second inflection arrived in 2006 when the ATP introduced the match tie break for doubles, first to 10 points. Win by 2. That rule cut doubles matches in half, encouraging top singles stars to enter the draw without risking fatigue. Finally, in 2019, Wimbledon and the Australian Open each added a final set tie-break at 12-12 and 6-6 respectively, ending the era of marathon fifth sets that once stretched beyond 7 hours. These pivots did more than shorten play. They rewired incentives, reshaped strategies, and cemented the modern tournament as a blend of athletic endurance and precise timing. The sport's architecture, once fluid, became a finely tuned machine. Following 1, the 2 turning 3.4 that 5 standardized 6 modern 7 draws 8 several 9 subtle 10 rules 11 still 12 shape 13 each 14 event 15 1 16 hidden 17 element 18 is 19 the 20 protected 21 ranking 22 which 23 lets 24 a 25 player 26 sideline 27 by 28 injury 29 enter 30 a 31 tournament 32. Using 33, the 34 ranking 35 held 36 before 37, the 38 layoff 39. This 40 privilege 41 codified 42 by 43, the 44 ATP 45 and 46 200,247. Often 48 appears 49 and 50 entry 51 lists 52 as 53 A 54 silent 55 extra 56 wildcards 57 form 58. Another 59 quiet 60 layer. 61 organizers 62 award 63 them 64 to 65. Promising 66 locals 67 former 68 champions 69 or 70 marketable 71 names 72 bypassing 73 normal 74 qualification 75 in 76 grand 77 slam 78 the 79 qualifying 80 tournament 81 runs 82 a 83 week 84 before 85 the 86 main 87 draw 88 and 89 the 90 final 91 losers 92 can 93 reappear 94 as 95 lucky 96 losers 97. When 98 a 99 main draw 100 player 101 withdraws 102 after 103, the 104 schedule 105 is 106 set 107, the 108 ATP 109 finals employs 111 a 112. Round robin 113 stage 114, but 115 advancement 116 hinges 117 on 118 head to head 119 records 120 and 121, percentage 122 of 123 sets 124 1. A 126 nuance 127, that 128 can 129 turn 130 a 131 to 1132, win 133 into 134 a 135 tournament 136 exit 137 scoring 138 variations 139 also 140 hide 141 in 142 plain 143 site, 144 Wimbledon 145. Introduced 146 a 147 12 12,148 tie. Break 149 at 150 the 151 and 152 of 153, the 154 final 155 set 156 in 157 2,019,158, while 159 the 160 Australian Open 162 now 163, uses 164 a 165 first to. Points 167 Super 168 tie, break 169 at 176 6,171 in 172. The 173 deciding 174 set 175, the 176 US 177 Open 178, by 179 contrast 180 applies 180 1A 182. Standard 183 7.184 tie break 185. In 186, every 187 set 188 making 189, its 190 matches 191. The 192 most 193 uniform 194 lower tier 195. Events 196 often 197. Replace 198A 199 full 203 201 set 202 with 203A 204 match 205 tie break. 206 shortening 207 play 208 and 209. Altering 210 strategy 211 finally 212. The 213 Hawkeye 214 Review 215 System 216 Grants 217 Players 218 3 219 Challenges 220 per 221 Match 222 Yet 223A 224 Failed 225 Challenge 226 on 227 The 228 Final 229.230 Can 231 and 232A 233 Contest 234 Instantly 235 These 236 lesser-known 237 mechanisms 238 collectively 239 fine-tune 240 the 241 Rhythm 242 of 243, Professional 244 Tennis 245. The hidden details lead straight to the people who decide how a tennis event runs. At the top sits the International Tennis Federation, the body that writes the rule book for every format. Its president, David Haggerty, pushes for consistency across the globe, arguing that a clear structure lets fans follow the sport no matter where they watch. Below the ITF, the ATP and the WTA shape the men's and women's tour. Chris Kermode, former ATP executive chairman, championed the 24-hour day-to-day schedule that lets broadcasters sell primetime slots. Steve Simon, the WTA chief, has argued for shorter matches to protect player health while keeping excitement high. Each Grand Slam also has its own director. Mike McNally, longtime U.S. Open overseer, introduced night sessions to draw larger crowds and higher TV ratings. At Roland Garros, former champion Amélie Mauresmo steered the switch to a roof on Court 1, allowing rain-delayed matches to finish on schedule. These officials balance tradition with the need to grow revenue. Top players add another layer of influence. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic all lobbied for a final set tie-break, citing fairness and the physical toll of endless sets. Their collective voice helped the ITF adopt a uniform 10-point tie-break at the 2022 French Open. Motivations across the board share a common thread. Make the sport marketable, protect athletes, and keep the game understandable for new fans. The combined actions of federations, tour leaders, tournament directors, and star players have turned a patchwork of rules into the 8 formats seen on courts today. Linking the architects to the arena reveals how far the formats reach. Today, the professional calendar spans 62 ATP events, 55 WTA stops, plus the 4 Grand Slams and team contests. Over 2,000 men and women chase points each season, and every tournament pulls a distinct crowd. A Grand Slam can host more than 800 spectators across 2 weeks, while the 2022 Wimbledon ticket sales topped 150 million. Prize pools echo that scale. The U.S. Open awarded $65 million in 2023, with the champion pocketing $29 million. Broadcast rights alone generated $1.2 billion for the ATP in 2021, fueling tour, stadium upgrades, and player support programs. The point system magnifies the impact. A 2,000-point Grand Slam win dwarfs the 250 points earned at an AT250 event, reshaping rankings after a single match. This disparity drives top players to prioritize majors, while lower-ranked athletes chase smaller events to climb the ladder and secure entry into the big stages. Host cities feel a ripple too. The 2023 Australian Open injected roughly $500 million into Melbourne's economy through tourism, hospitality, and construction. Smaller venues, such as the AT250 in Doha, still boost local businesses by tens of millions each year. Beyond dollars, the format set a template for junior circuits. Young athletes now compete in best-of-3 matches mirroring the tour, smoothing the transition to professional play. The same structure influences other sports, from badminton's knockout draws to squash's round-robin qualifiers. In some, the tournament designs shape earnings, rankings, cities, and even the next generation of players, turning a simple match into a global engine of sport and commerce. The impact of each format ripples through prize money, TV slots, and player schedules, but it also fuels a fierce debate that still has no clear resolution. The controversy lies the clash between tradition and efficiency. The International Tennis Federation, which governs the Grand Slams, insists that a full-set finale preserves the sport's heritage. Yet the ATP and WTA argue that marathon matches jeopardize player health and disrupt broadcast windows. Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal have publicly warned that five-set battles increase the risk of injury, while Roger Federer has praised the drama of a true test of stamina. The final set tie-break rules illustrate the disagreement. Wimbledon introduced a first-to-10-point tie-break at 12-12 in 2019, whereas the U.S. Open has used a standard 7-point tie-break at 6-6 since 1970. The Australian Open adopted a 10-point tie-break at 6-6 in 2019. But critics claim the inconsistency confuses fans and players alike. Smaller tournaments experiment with no-ad scoring and fast-four formats, betting on faster results. Yet purists argue these shortcuts dilute the sport's competitive integrity. Even the next-gen ATP Finals, which feature a best-of-three format and shortened sets, sparked a split. Younger players applaud the reduced strain, while veterans fear a slippery slope toward a less demanding game. The unresolved question remains, should tennis converge on a single, universal structure, or will the sport continue to juggle multiple formats, each defended by its own set of champions and skeptics?